I've heard a lot of people on the left say, where are all the pro 2A, 2A absolutist gun owners right now when we have bona fide fascism rising in our country? I hear you. I really do. There is a problem with what is going on. As somebody who was a history student in school, I can definitely see the similarities, and it bothers me to my core. Now, addressing the original issue here that I started the video for, I don't want to place blame on the left necessarily, or Democrats or whatever, for what's going on. But I will say, as somebody who is pro 2A and a 2A absolutist, when I have had discussions with y'all in the past, not all of y'all, of course, can't have discussions with every single one of you, but when I've had discussions with those who are definitely more towards your camp as far as political thinking, I've heard that, well, this sort of thing would never happen in America, so that's a stupid reason to own guns, especially so-called weapons of war. Or that, well, if that was the case, then the government would just bomb you from the skies. Cool. Whatever. There's merits to that, actually, on the last part. But when y'all ask where the fuck we are, I'm going to tell you from my perspective, and people are free to disagree. From my perspective, the reality of the situation is y'all spent so long demonizing people that own these sort of items that when somebody came along promising them absolution from all of the, how would you say, demonization of just existing with their beliefs, on just that alone. Other beliefs we can talk about, but just the idea of owning an AR-15 with several mags equates them to being child murderers and just all around horrible people. Somebody came along, fed into their insecurities, and said, you're not a bad person. You're going to be a wonderful person. The best person. The best person. Only the best people vote for me. That kind of shit. You open them up to that. Again, this is not to cast aspersions or blame. I'm just saying from my perspective what I've seen happen. That the people that own these items that you want so badly now to defend you because you thought it was immoral, horrendous, whatever, to own yourself, you basically put yourself in a position that you are begging for the people who you have demonized for decades to protect you. And now a lot of them have gone to the side that you didn't want in your worst dreams. What did you expect? Now, some of us see what's happening. We do. And you might ask, well, why don't you band up? There ain't enough of us. Truth be told, there ain't enough of us. We are very few. We have tried to make inroads, and you have rebuked us every single time. Not every single time. Okay, let me be fair. Many of you have rebuked us. Now, to be fair, those that we thought were on our side, at least from this perspective of not allowing the state to have a monopoly on violence, when we started welcoming some of y'all who kind of realized the utility of the Second Amendment, when we started welcoming y'all to our ranks, they started calling us sissy liberals and started gatekeeping the Second Amendment. Myself, I hate the fact that that was something that happened. But it is something that is a thing. So now, those of us who realize that the Second Amendment and fully believe that the Second Amendment is there for all people to utilize to prevent what we see. Well, you might call us a dying breed. Because those of us that don't fall in partisan, divisions or whatever, we see the Second Amendment as what it is meant to really be. Those who do fall to partisan biases, they've basically said, fuck them. I've literally heard the term that the opposition are zombies. Not even joking. It is something I inherently or deeply disagree with, but it is the fact of the situation. Again, this is not to cast blame or aspersion, but I want you to sit here and think. Now that you're begging, or even not, maybe you're not even begging. Maybe you're asking, where the fuck are we? We're stuck between a rock and a fucking hard place. Because one side spent so much time demonizing us for what we believed in as right. And the other side, well, they're just being a bunch of cunts. What the fuck do you want us to do? Collective action requires the majority to stand up for what's right. Now, there's definitely opportunities to turn this around. And I think the left has far better organization than the right does, to be perfectly honest. And if we stopped fighting with each other, and I know that's a big ask, especially considering some that are still clinging to the right-wing ideology, that's probably not going to happen. But for those who have left the right-wing ideology and are in the middle and still have a grounded understanding of what the Second Amendment was really about, there's inroads there if you choose to make them. And some on the left are. And I'm proud to see that. And to say that. I've seen so many good organizations come out of that. And I'm sad that they're not more widespread. And honestly, if this gets me, shit with the right wing, fuck them. Fuck fascists. We used to shoot them here. So, anyway, to sum this up real quick. Basically, those of us that you want on your side, there ain't enough of us. So you either need to figure out how you're going to get the hardware to do what's needed to be done, should it come to that, and we should pray that it never, and I'm an atheist, so when I say we should pray that it never comes to that, I mean that with full sincerity and conviction. Because that level of destruction is something we should never see in this country. I do believe that America should be the shining city on a hill. And to see the level of destruction that would come to our country should we come to arms against each other like we did over 100 years ago, that's terrifying to think about. Especially with how incredibly intelligent and resourceful our population is, regardless of political leaning. It would not end well. Even if the righteous side won, it would not be a war that was won with pride. It would be a war that was won with Pyrrhic victory. That's my perspective. But regardless of that, if you want to have a chance, arm the fuck up. Grow up and realize that the whole Batman ideology of, well, if you kill a killer, then the number of killers remain the same. That's bullshit. Because you didn't go out to kill somebody that day. You went out to defend yourself and what is right. Morally right. The people that wanted to take that away, subjugate others, and institute a horrendous fascist regime, those are your killers. You're not a killer. You're a guardian. realize the distinction before the worst comes to happen.